Hi guys! Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. This is Miss Sean from Keep It Up with Sean, and this topic is the last part of this lecture videos in soil science. And today we are going to talk about soil classification and soil survey. Medyo mahaba siya guys, so I am going to divide this topic into different parts para hindi siya ganun ka boring sa inyo. I would be honest na this topic is medyo boring sa iba kasi nga classification. We are going to talk about different soil orders, but nevertheless, it's still important just like the other topic. So I hope meron kayong matutunan dito, and I will try my best na hindi siya ganun kahirap intindihin. Kasi puro kasi siya technical yung kanyang information. So kaya yung iba ay hindi masyadong nagaganahan na mag-aral about soil classification, and but then I will try my best na hindi siya ganun kahirap intindihin. So thank you very much for watching, and see you again next time. Bye! Welcome again guys, and for this lecture video we are going to talk about soil survey and classification. This will be the last topic in soil science, and sana meron kayong matutunan about this video. Bakit nga kaya na-invento ang classification at saka taxonomy? Not only in soils, we also classify crops, plants, and animals. Kung natatandaan nyo sa ibang field like in entomology, in crop science, we memorize all those scientific names and we classify those crops and weeds and insects. Because classification make things in order. Mas madali siya nating matatandaan pag alam natin yung pangalan ng isang bagay. Giving names to a certain thing gives a person an idea on its important properties. Like, for example, it's like attending a family reunion. Yung first time mong umattend ng family reunion na wala kang kakilala, mas matatandaan mo yung isang tao kung meron kang feature or property na natatandaan sa kanya. Like for isang pinsan mo ay may nunal sa pisngi, mas madali mo siya ngayong matandaan kasi meron siyang distinct property na nakikita mo. And then when you tell that experience and when you tell that person to your brother or to your sister na hindi nakarating sa reunion na yun, mas madali mo siya ngayong i-describe. Kasi alam mo kung ano yung tao na yun based dun sa nakita mo. Even our understanding and management of soils and terrestrial systems would be affected if we know only that a soil was a soil. Mahihirapan tayong i-explain sa kaibigan natin or sa kasama natin sa trabaho kung yung lupa ay hindi mo alam kung paano mo siya i-describe. In ancient civilizations, people have already used various systems to name and classify soils. In fact, from the time crops were first cultivated, people already noticed difference in soils, and they classify them according to their suitability for different use. Like, binibigyan nila ng pangalan yung lupa such as black cotton soils, rice soils, or other soils known to be very suitable for a certain crop. Sa Pilipinas, minsan yung pinapangalanan nila yung lupa based on sa characteristic ng lupa na yun. Like, pulang bato or pulang lupa. Or for example, bunbon. So people are using description to name the soils. Other names that are being used today have geological meanings referring to the parent materials from where the soil forms, such as limestone soils or alluvial soils. And these terms, which may convey some meaning to local users, it helps organize our knowledge of soil or to see the relationship among soils in the world. Now, what is classification? Soil classification is the systematic arrangement of soils into groups or categories on the basis of their characteristics. So, classify natin yung lupa based dun sa kanyang characteristics. So, meron siyang hierarchy. Soil taxonomy, on the other hand, is the comprehensive soil classification system, and it is a science which deals with the principles in classifying soils. Soil taxonomy provides a hierarchy grouping of natural soil bodies, and this is very unique because of these features. Number one is soil taxonomy is based on soil properties that can be objectively measured or observed. Ibig sabihin, the way they classify soils for taxonomy, hindi lang siya based dun sa opinion, but then it is really based on properties na you can objectively measure or observe. So because of that, this lessens the likelihood and controversy over the classification of a given soil, which can occur when scientists deals with systems based on presumably mechanism of soil formation. Mahirap kasi 'di ba pag you classify soil na according to your opinion lang, wala kang reference na objective na reference. So dahil dito, standard ngayon yung pagka-classify nila sa lupa kasi meron silang reference. So hindi siya bias. The second unique feature of this classification is the nomenclature employed. It gives a definite connotation of the major characteristics of the soil in question. Kaya siya standardized at saka hindi siya biased. It is international because it is not based on any one national language. So English yung kanyang gamit, and kahit saan ka magpunta, there are only those classification. Hindi siya iba sa China, iba siya Russia, but then they are international. So kahit pumunta ka ng Africa or Asia or Europe or America, we have that one classification for soils. We have that system for classifying soils. What is the purpose of soil taxonomy? Number one is it organizes knowledge about soils. Second is we understand relationships among different soils. So mako-compare mo siya, and then third is establish groups or classes for practical purposes, like for example, you predict the behavior of that soil. You identify what is the best use of that soil. Saan ba siya mas karapat-dapat? Is it good for agriculture? Is it good for this crop? Is that good for anything? And you also estimate productivity. And you can also use it for research purposes. You can extend your research results. The soil taxonomy is usually based on chemical, physical, and biological properties of the soil. It considers the moisture regime, at the same time, temperature regimes. We are going to discuss that one by one. Throughout the year, as well as the color, texture, and structure of the soil. It also considers the organic matter content, the clay, iron, aluminum oxides, silicate clays, pH, base saturation, and soil depth, which are some important criteria for soil classification. These are all chemical and mineralogical properties of the soil. And it also considers the presence or absence of diagnostic soil horizon, the epipedon, which helps determine the place of a soil in the classification system. So, na-mention ko nga na we consider here the moisture regime and temperature regimes. What are soil temperature regimes? Soil temperature regime is the mean annual soil temperature measured at 50 centimeter from surface. Ibig sabihin, ito yung average soil temperature which is measured at 50 centimeter from surface. So, hindi siya dun sa surface ng lupa, kundi dun ka pa talaga sa 50 centimeter below from the surface. We have here 7 different soil temperature regimes. Number 1 is pergelic. When you say pergelic, the mean annual temperature, acronym is MAT, mean annual temperature, is less than 0 degree Celsius. So kung ang annual soil temperature mo ay less than 0 degrees Celsius, it is pergelic ang kanyang soil temperature regime. When we say cryic, the mean annual soil temperature is between 0 degrees Celsius and 8 degrees Celsius. So that is cryic. We also have frigid. Frigid is when the mean annual temperature is lesser than 8 degrees Celsius. So, warmer siya than cryic in the summer. And then we also have mesic, when the mean annual soil temperature is 8 degrees Celsius and 15 degrees Celsius. Nandun siya sa between 8 degrees and 15 degrees Celsius. So that is mesic. And we have thermic. Thermic is mainit, thermal, when the mean annual soil temperature is between 15 degrees Celsius to 22 degrees Celsius. Then we also have hyperthermic, which is higher than thermic. So this is the mean annual soil temperature is greater than 22 degrees Celsius. Then we also have iso, which means that the summer temperature, summer here is in June, July, August, and the winter temperature, which is happening in December, January, February, differs by less than 5 degrees Celsius. So, ISO siya. And then from ISO, meron tayo ngayong subclassification. We have isofrigid, isomesic, isothermic, and isohyperthermic. We say isofrigid has a mean annual soil temperature less than 8 degrees Celsius. Isomesic has MAT from 8 degrees to 15 degrees Celsius. Isothermic naman siya when the mean annual soil temperature is 15 degrees Celsius to 22 degrees Celsius. Isohyperthermic siya when the mean annual soil temperature is greater than 22 degrees Celsius. But to be considered ISO, the mean summer temperature, which is happening from June, July, August, and the winter temperature, which is happening December, January, February, should differ by less than 5 degrees Celsius. So we already discussed about the soil temperature regime. Now we are going to discuss soil moisture regime. Soil moisture regimes are the number of days when the soil contains available water during the period when soil temperature at 50 centimeter below the surface is above 5 degrees Celsius. So they measure na ngayon kung gaano kadami yung tubig sa ilalim ng lupa at 50 centimeter below the surface when the soil temperature is above 5 degrees Celsius. This is measured in terms of the absence or presence of water held at a tension of less than 15 bars in the moisture control section by a period of 1 year. So they measured it for 1 year. And then they also have different soil moisture control section depending upon the texture of the soil. So the soil moisture control section for clay soils is within 10 to 30 centimeter, 20 to 60 centimeter for loamy soils, and 30 to 90 centimeter for sandy soils. So dun sila ngayon nagme-measure. These are the different soil moisture regimes. Number 1 is aquic. When we say aquic, aqua, that's coming from aqua, water. Agua, aqua, that's water. It means that the soil is saturated and no dissolved oxygen. So it's reduced regime. That is aqua. Saturated siya ng tubig. Second is aridic and toric. Torridos, hot and dry. It means that the soil moisture control section is dry, tuyo, for more than half the time when the soil temperature at 50 centimeter is greater than 5 degrees Celsius, And this is moist for less than 3 months only. So that is acidic and toric, hot and dry. The third one is ustic. Ustic is coming from the word ustus, which means burnt. That and it has a dry moisture regime for more than 3 months and continuously moist for at least 3 months. That is ustic. And then we also have udic, that is from udus, which is humid. That means that the soil is dry for less than 3 months only. So ito yung mga area na medyo malimit na inuulan. And then we also have xeric from the word xeros, which means dry. And the soil is continuously dry for 45 days after summer and continuously moist 45 days after winter. In some provinces in the Philippines, we have mostly ustic soil moisture regimes, udic soil moisture regimes, depending upon the provinces. Kasi may mga provinces na masyadong maulan at saka meron namang provinces na even yung distribution ng ulan at saka maaraw. And then there are some provinces na masyadong mainit. Like when you go to the north, Ilocos or Jensan, masyadong mainit dun. Those are the different soil temperature regimes and the soil moisture regimes. We will stop here for the moment and please watch out for the second part of this lecture video in which we are going to discuss the diagnostic surface horizon and the subsurface horizons. And then later on, we will discuss the different soil orders. Thank you very much for watching and don't forget to click the subscribe button if you are new to my channel and you can also share this video to your friends. Maraming salamat and see you again next time. Bye!